Hi, today we're going to talk about crypto narratives. Now, if you're not from the crypto sector, you may wonder what is the real meaning of this word narrative. To put it very simply, these are short stories or taglines which actually motivate people to get into the crypto and Web3 sector. Let me give you some examples to understand what we mean by this. I'm sure you've heard about the term HODL. It's very, very commonly used. HODL, hold on for dear life. That's actually one of the most powerful narratives in the crypto sector. And when cryptos are crashing, it is this phrase, HODL, that actually gives hope to people and they hold on to the crypto. Instead of dumping it, they keep holding on to it. Another very interesting one, which you've obviously heard about, is Bitcoin is digital gold. Now, let's just think for a second. What do you think would motivate more people to get into Bitcoin or to buy it? Would it be all the technical videos, blogs, and white papers? Or can it be just this one sentence? Bitcoin is digital gold. Now, in my opinion, it's that one sentence that actually gets people hooked and buying Bitcoin because anybody can understand what it means. We all know what is gold. We all know gold is valuable. We know gold has held its value for thousands of years. So the moment you tell me that something is digital gold, it makes sense to me. And I can say, okay, if I hold on to this, I will make money over a long period of time. Now, crypto moves primarily on narratives. And these narratives or stories, they make you do five things. Firstly, they help you to relate to crypto. Saying something is digital gold makes it easy for me to relate to something. They bring in new users, investors, and tons of money because anybody who hears that narrative and it makes sense to him wants to now start investing. They influence the whole market sentiment and they build hype. They keep people calm when dumps are happening, crashes are happening. So, now what are these top crypto narratives? Let's understand them. Then we're going to have a look at what are the top narratives for 2025, which you can use to actually buy the right cryptos and make serious money this year. Now, one of the first narratives that Bitcoin started off with was Bitcoin is peer to peer digital cash. Now, that made sense to everyone. The world was just starting off with digital payment systems. So it kind of made sense to everyone that, okay, we now have this peer to peer cash. So it's not created by a government, it's created by this network, and anybody in the world can use it to pay money to each other. Another narrative which came at that time was that Bitcoin is a tool for privacy and financial sovereignty. So again, they said that there's no KYC, so nobody really knows who you are, who's making these transactions. That's how the whole thing started. Then it moved on to more narratives. Bitcoin is a store of value, hedge against inflation. Many banks failed at that time, so they said Bitcoin is a hedge against bank failures. So again, that story caught on. Then came Ethereum, said, I am the world computer. Now, if they try to explain to people all about smart contracts and the complicated tech things that does, most people wouldn't have understood Ethereum. But when we say Ethereum is world computer, it kind of makes it easy for everyone to understand that Ethereum is going to do some very cool things and the whole world can use it. Then came in the concept of DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, which completely changed the way people operate. They said these are like companies for the blockchain. And they said we are governed by smart contracts, not by centralized management. Again, it made it easy for people to understand. Then we saw the ICO boom, where lots and lots of people started raising money through ICOs. Now, there, the tagline used was ICOs are the democratization of fundraising. So, again, instead of a centralized model in which you are doing fundraising based on, say, the stock markets, that's centralized. So, raise money from other people, call it democratization of fundraising. Of course, you should remember that even in the stock markets, it's your and my money. So, it is not really centralized fundraising, but ICOs use that tagline very well. Then came the concept of tokenization, where the tagline used was everything can be tokenized: real estate, art, commodities. So that again caught on. Then we moved on to a very interesting narrative which said build during the bear market. So in any financial asset in the world, there are bull phases and there are bear phases. So here the narrative came that when we are going through bear market, build. When we are going through bull market, sell and make money. So again, that caught on. Then came decentralized finance, which said DeFi is the future of finance. Then came in yield farming, liquidity mining. They suddenly created new revenue models. Then, if you recall, we got NFTs, non fungible tokens, and they were tagged as digital ownership revolution. Caught on NFTs made billions. Then we had play to earn gaming, which came. Then suddenly we found Ethereum killers. So Solana, Avalanche, and Cardano, three new blockchains came and said, we are the Ethereum killers. So suddenly it made sense. Otherwise, you would have wondered, we already have Ethereum. Why do we need new blockchains? They said, no, Ethereum has problems. We will kill it. We will be better. Of course, till today, nobody's killed it. Ethereum still rules. But of course, Solana has picked up very well, not so much Avalanche and Cardano. Then we suddenly found that blockchain said, we will make Ethereum faster and cheaper. So layer two solutions came. Then Bitcoin came out with one of its best narratives, which is Bitcoin is a reserve asset. So countries around the world can hold Bitcoin just like today they hold US dollars or foreign exchange or even oil and gold. They can start holding Bitcoin. Then we also saw, because a lot of people were saying Bitcoin is bad for the environment, a new narrative started that Bitcoin is environmentally friendly and renewable energy is being actually used to mine Bitcoin. Then, since last year, AI obviously made its entry into the narratives, and we started speaking about AI driven blockchain applications. We started speaking about decentralized AI networks. Now, what do we think are going to be the main narratives for 2025? I would say that the most important is going to continue to be Bitcoin is a strategic reserve asset for countries and companies. We've already seen in the past companies like Tesla and MicroStrategy buy a lot of Bitcoin. We probably will see a lot of new ones coming in. We can see that countries like the US, UK, Germany, even Bhutan hold a lot of Bitcoin. Now, the US President Donald Trump says that he will push for Bitcoin to become a strategic reserve asset for the US. Now, whether that happens or not, the buzz has already started. So, people are now expecting some companies, some countries to start announcing that they are going to hold Bitcoin as a strategic reserve for the future. Another narrative which will continue this year is that fiat currencies are made out of thin air. Bitcoin is the future. Then we are going to see more about AI agents and algorithms being used for asset price prediction. So whether that's Bitcoin price, gold price, crypto price, more and more AI agents will come up. Another very interesting narrative which is building is that synthetic assets allow exposure to real world assets without directly owning them. So that's another very interesting new narrative which is coming up, that instead of actually buying, say, Bitcoin or gold or anything else, where I have to take care of custody and so many things could go wrong, I could simply hold the synthetic version of that. Another narrative which I see picking up is gamified finance, which we call as Gamblefy, which will merge gaming and finance and make investing fun. Now, if you've already used platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket, which became very popular during the US elections recently, where people were using these platforms to actually bid on who will win the election. Now, if you've seen that happening, you will realize that a lot of money is moving into that direction, and we are able to actually predict the outcome of an election based on where people are putting their money. So that becomes another very interesting way in which I think things are going to be moving. Let me just quickly open up the chats also. Give me a second. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them here. Otherwise, you can put them in later also. Now, the point that emerges is, what is the benefit of these narratives? Like, why do I really care about narratives? Because narratives are going to impact and influence so many people, and they are going to influence people's investing habits and how they decide to put their money. It is very important for us to understand the narratives well. Now, one mistake that people make is they wait too much. So the narrative has come, it is building, it reaches a peak. At that time, you buy based on it. But then the narrative dies out very quickly and you end up losing a lot of money. In fact, the reason people lose money, and in fact, it's very surprising that Bitcoin has been constantly going up. For the last 15 years, it's gone from nearly zero to more than $100,000. In this entire journey, why do so many people lose money? Because they're constantly buying it at the wrong time when the price is too high, and then they're selling at the wrong time when the price falls. Because you're not reading the narratives correctly. You need to get in on a narrative fast when the narrative is just starting out. If you wait for the narrative to mature, well, then you're getting in too late. The prices are likely to now go down when the narrative runs out, because most of the narratives are not going to last forever. They all come with a limited time span. So it's very important for us to understand which stage the narrative is in. Is it the early stages or is it reaching the end? And then, according to that, we need to make our decisions and we need to act fast. When the narrative is in our favor, we need to buy. When the narrative seems to be maturing, we need to sell. Only then can we actually book our profits. I can see some interesting questions. Let me answer them. Are there risks associated with relying heavily on narratives when making cryptocurrency investing decisions? Of course, there are always risks. But like I said, we need to get in on the narrative early. We need to exit the narrative before it starts to die down. How can a layman discern between effective narratives and misleading information? Sure, that's a very good point. Uh, when a lot of people start talking about something, that's when we can actually call it a narrative. Otherwise, we can call it just misleading information or just information. Like, for example, a lot of times there is FUD, fear, uncertainty, which is created around Tether. The Tether will shut down. Binance will shut down. Now, if you realize these are sporadically, they come in when somebody wants to kill the bull run and they're trying to create some reason for that. But it's a short-lived thing. Till today, Tether has not gone bust, nor has Binance gone bust. So when you look at a crypto narrative, it's usually positive, and it is usually signifying something new or beneficial which is coming. FUD, on the other hand, is always negative to bring the price down. So when you read some news, classify it as positive or negative. If it's positive, chances are it is going to be a narrative. Then, is it actually being picked up by a lot of people? Is it gaining traction? The moment you see a narrative gaining traction is when you take it seriously and quickly make your decisions. There's another question. Can AI agents predict the rise of coins well in advance so that we can take advantage of investing early? And how accurate results you can get from AI agents? That's a very good point. So I've also working on an AI agent called Sarah, which predicts Bitcoin prices. But in my opinion, we should use AI agents for short-term predictions, not long-term. Short-term predictions are more math-based, data-based, machine learning-based. So actually, AI can do a better job. Predicting what may turn into a narrative in the future is not something that I think AI is that good at yet. We still need human brains for that. So I would say use AI for short-term predictions. So I we use it, we've designed it for 10-minute price predictions, 1 hour price predictions, and 24-hour price predictions. Nothing longer than that. But when it comes to longer, we rely on narratives, which we as human beings need to analyze what's happening in the world and figure out what narratives are actually picking up. So I hope that answers your question. Another one is, what are the top social listening skills needed to identify emerging narratives? So focus on the right platforms. So you will get a lot of these narratives from Reddit and you'll get a lot of these narratives from Twitter. Those are the two most important places. Telegram is very popular, but then the point is it's divided into groups and channels, and it's not really truly social the way Twitter or Reddit is. So I would say the most important are these two. And that's where you can actually begin to get a lot of your social listening from. What is your favorite crypto narrative that has significantly driven the market in the last 15 years? I think the number one, which I think best, is HODL. Nothing. It's brilliant, right? I mean, just think about it. Hold on for dear life. Now, if a large number of people believe in this concept, do you realize that that particular asset is never really going to fall? Because when the price falls and nobody sells, how long will the price fall? The price goes up because there are no sellers available. Please remember, price is always a function of demand and supply. For anything in the world, if there is more demand and less supply, the price will go up, the value goes up. For anything in the world where there is more supply, less demand, obviously the price will crash. HODL creates this solid demand where even when the prices are going down, you're holding on. Prices are going up, you're holding on. So the supply is always restricted. Bring in some demand and the prices shoot. So I think HODL is the best narrative I've seen in my life. Another question. In fact, I have attended your Sara session, and it came into my dream last night. Okay, that's interesting. So, what exactly did Sara predict in your dream? If you could share that, that sounds very interesting. So now, when we look at 2025, and like I said, obviously Bitcoin is a top narrative. Gamblefy is another very important narrative which is going to be coming up, and AI-based predictions is going to be there. So now we need to start planning in that direction. How are we going to participate in these opportunities that are there? So what tokens are we going to buy? When are we going to buy? And more importantly, when are we going to sell the token? Don't get married to a token, right? Marriages are supposed to be forever, not investments. So when you buy something, you also have to figure out, where am I going to sell it? And ideally, you decide on the selling at the time of buying, that okay, I'm buying at this price, and when it hits here, I am going to sell and exit. Or when it hits certain prices, I'm going to consistently sell till I completely liquidate my position. Of course, if you believe in pure hodling, then you don't have to listen to anything that I just said. Put your money, buy whichever token you are really positive on, lock it, and forget about it. But if you're looking at trading, you're looking at constant buying and selling. And I don't mean day trading where you're going to make transactions 10 times a day. But when you're looking at constantly buying and selling in the long run, that's when you need to take very careful consideration of what kind of narratives are there in the market. I think I've answered all your questions. I don't see any more. Awesome. So I'll see you guys tomorrow and have a great day. Bye bye.